Free the Animal readers and watchers, I guess. I'm here with Timothy Zork, and he emailed a couple. Actually, he put on Twitter a couple days ago that due to some information he'd gotten from paleo in various sources, which we'll get to, he made some amazing progress. And I thought, it would be interesting if we heard from some people who actually got some results from all this stuff that we hear all the time. So, Timothy, tell me a little bit about yourself. How old are you, and what do you do for a living?
Okay, I am 28 years old. I work in architecture and planning in a firm outside Washington, D.C.
Hmm.
And I don't know if that's exciting enough,
No,
but
well, no,
and
but everybody's
recent,
somewhere.
yeah, I guess also recently I've sort of become a paleo enthusiast.
Right, right,
Uh,
right.
so
Um, Now, so you actually did college and lived in Honduras for a while, but in
yeah,
the email that you sent me, basically writing up your story, you told me that you were pretty much a fat boy most, if not all, your life that you remember.
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I don't remember the exact moment. I sort of can deduce it was probably around third or fourth grade because I remember there's photographic evidence of me as a young child, being sort of the classic, happy, thin, just a regular kid. And then I'm assuming in between second and third grade, my family moved across the country, and I don't know if I didn't have any friends and just started eating a lot. I'm just conjecturing here. I don't know the exact moment, but it was shortly after that, third, fourth grade, that I kind of just started growing.
You started growing, yeah.
Started growing, yeah, and was pretty much like that, until about 6 months ago.
So you were putting on stature at the same time that you were putting on fat too.
Yes, I guess that's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
Putting on stature and fat.
Right. So how tall are you?
Excuse me. I'm 6'1".
Okay. Yeah. So your normal weight would be around 190 to 200 anyway.
That's what I'm guessing. It's sort of people have asked me, well, what's your goal weight? And I honestly have sort of no metric to compare it to because I don't remember that. Oh, in high school I was 185 and I was loving life. So
Hmm.
I'm not trying to get back to my goal weight. It's just so I'm sort of figuring out as I go what looks good on me. I think I've been tall and sort of broad shoulders, and so I can carry it well. But
Uh-huh.
even when I was overweight, I thought it didn't. Well, some pictures look pretty bad, but
So at your
some
heaviest, you were at 285,
yeah, around 285.
and now you're down to 207. So basically, an 80-pound loss so far.
Yeah.
Um, very close to your goal. So now, how did you get there? I know you said you felt fat all your life, but what were your eating habits?
So I grew up as a vegetarian. My family,
The plot
uh,
thickens.
yeah, the plot thickens, and there's no. I'm sure there's 100 or a million thin vegetarians in the world. I can't blame my weight on being vegetarian, but I can say it probably didn't help. But grew up vegetarian, eating a lot of grains, a lot of soy, a lot of sort of animal vegetarian food made out of pure gluten. Sort of all the bad ones,
Right.
all the big bad things was sort of my diet growing up, and so that's that I'm definitely contributed to it, but
But before we go any farther, I want to throw up a photo, a before and after photo, for the people who might be watching this via Vimeo or YouTube and not necessarily on my blog where that photo will be shown anyway. So let's just take a second and look at this. How about that? How about that? So, um, now, how did you Is it something that you dwelled on, being so overweight? Was it something that bugged you all the time, or were you kind of the happy-go-lucky fat guy?
I sort of developed like the happy-go-lucky fat guy persona. I think
Hmm.
I had a lot of friends. I was never sort of depressed about being fat, but there was definitely times when I felt really held back. I grew up in Michigan, right by the lake, and so one of the biggest activities in the summer is, oh, let's all go to Lake Michigan. We'll go to the beach. We'll play. We'll go swimming, and that was always a very uncomfortable moment for me. It's not that I was, just I never wanted to go. You don't want to go hang out with your friends, and there's a lot of girls at the beach, and you're the guy walking around with your shirt on. It
Yeah.
was an unhappy experience.
Well, speaking of the girls, and this is Free the Animals, so you can be as graphic as you like. But so how was being fat? How did that affect you in the girl department? Getting girlfriends or feeling confident about talking to them and so on.
I uh, I probably affected my confidence some. I suppose I did okay. Somehow, I'm incredibly grateful that women have the ability to love fat men. But I think I sort of developed a good personality, if I can say that about myself. I was intelligent, and a good sense of humor. So I had some attractive
Hmm.
qualities people liked, and I was maybe not as fulfilled as I would have liked to have been, but it was okay.
So you compensated in other areas,
Yeah,
but then one day you realized, well, I can still be intelligent and I can still be funny, but maybe I can be an intelligent, funny, thin guy, right?
exactly, exactly. Why
Yeah,
why not?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so did you? I know that you started this about 6 months ago, according to
Yeah,
your story. Did you try anything else over the years? So, the standard low fat and
yeah.
all those things.
So at various points I had tried, oh, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to, go running, I'm going to eat really low fat and, diet, restrict calories. And, I maybe had a little bit success here and there, but it was just the amount of effort versus the amount of results was just completely unsustainable.
Hmm.
You mentioned earlier about my time in Honduras. When I was down there, I did lose maybe about 30 pounds just because I was working hard, sweating a lot, and eating only rice and beans, which was sort of uh, I guess less processed food and a lot
Right.
less crap that I would normally eat back at home.
Sure.
And so I did okay, actually, kind of keeping that off. I sort of floated around 250 to 260 for 3 or 4 years, but I was kind of proud of that, I guess. But it wasn't. But
And
I
you
still
got you got a girlfriend too during that
did,
time.
yeah, yeah. So that's amazingly.
There you go.
Although I asked her, like when I was putting this post together and talking to you, I was gathering all my old photos, and I was like, "Geez, Cindy, I can't believe that you could love that guy." And she's like, "Oh, it's you're still the same guy inside, So it's
Well, good for you.
I'm grateful that
You,
that we have that ability.
yeah. Well, but now you can be grateful with a little bit more pride too, right?
Exactly, and she's certainly not unhappy
Good.
that I'm thinner and more attractive.
So what made you decide to go paleo, or what made you say, "Hey, this makes sense. I've got to try this."
So I kind of stumbled into paleo. Uh, I had been kind of listening to a lot of podcasts on the 5x5 network, which is where Angela Coppola has his podcast, Latest in Paleo. And so I had just been listening to them for their sort of computers and technology, Apple related podcasts. And Dan Benjamin follows the paleo diet. And so he mentioned it in passing a couple of times, but didn't really talk about it. I'd never heard of it before, but it sounded intriguing. But that sort of was just in the back of my mind for a couple of months. And then when he picked up the latest in paleo program,
Hmm.
I just started listening to it, and I was a little skeptical at first, maybe just because I had grown up in sort of in a culture and in a household where it was, obviously vegetarian is good, fat is bad. These are all sorts of these are self-evident truths that, low-fat vegetarian is the best. So,
It's a catechism. It's not to be questioned.
Exactly. But sort of as the more I sort of started listening to it, I was very impressed with some of the results. So before even I sort of was convinced about the science, Angelo had linked to a bunch of blogs. Free the Animal was one of his blogs of the week at one point, and I was checked out Mark's Daily Apple, a lot of stuff, and just sort of the results stories that people were posting. I was like, well, hell, what I've been doing hasn't worked, so it's not going to hurt anything to try something else.
So what was your basic approach to paleo?
So I don't know. I'm not sure the right answer for that is. Meaning as far as diet or just
in general? Was it a low carbish meat and vegetables sort of
right. So when I started out, it was just a lot of meat and vegetables. I went very low carb at the beginning, and I've sort of been introducing more potatoes and stuff like that back into my diet as time has gone on. But I think sort of all the science I was reading about, it was necessary at first, because I was coming out of, sort of a really screwed up metabolism, just sort of eating tons of pasta or rice, just sort of really, carb binging. And I think it was very important to sort of get things back to like a homeostasis in my body. But yeah, so it was a lot of meat, a lot of steak. I was really excited that I can go out and buy bacon again. Bought a bunch of grass-fed meat, pastured butter, coconut oil. Sort of went and just one day went to the grocery store and just loaded up, and I guess it was great. I felt amazing day one.
All right, so let me just to recap: from 285 to 207, about 80 pounds lost. A few more to go. You say excellent results. We'll have the pictures up there, and just in closing, because we want to keep these, within about 15 minutes, so that it's easy for people to watch and get inspired. So, in terms of inspiration, what do you say for the guy or the gal out there that is where you were 6 months ago or a year ago?
I would say, just go for it. There's really no reason not to. Honestly, this makes the most sense out of anything I've ever done in my life. I can't think of any way to argue with sort of the science, the biology, the chemistry, the history, evolution. I don't know. It's just true, I guess, to speak in those terms.
So I'm sensing no regrets whatsoever.
Oh, none, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would, when I've been talking with some of my coworkers about it, who have noticed that I've made incredible transformations, and they're always saying, "Oh, I don't know if I could give up bagels, or I don't know if I could live without this." And my response is, now that I know what it feels like to be amazing, I could never live without feeling amazing ever again in my life.
Amen.
So talk about what you're giving up. If you're not giving up,
gaining.
Yeah, you're gaining. It's like, so you're willing to give up your health, but you're not willing to give up bagels. I would gladly give up bagels to feel amazing for the rest of my life, and there's no regret, not even a sacrifice.
Well, I'd say you had an amazing transformation. So I congratulate you, sir, and thank you for getting a hold of me. And hopefully this will be the first of a few of these sorts of interviews. So we will see you around the comments sections on blogs, and hopefully you'll be inspiring others. Thanks a lot for your time, Timothy.
Thank you.
All right.